Hello and welcome back to Jack Knives Reviews. I'm of course your host, Jack Knives. Today let's look at a movie that deals with both the horrors of the flesh and the horrors of the soul, with the Autopsy of Jane Doe. Father and son, Tommy and Austin, work at a coroner's office together. One day they are given a very complex mystery of a dead body, finding multiple causes of death that don't seem to make sense one after the other. But the more they stare into the death of this girl, the more mystery there is to figure out. This movie was directed by Andre Ovredel, and I've seen most of his work, and he's a very divisive director. His films range from fun to kind of underwhelming. This is the movie that really recognized him in the horror landscape, because this movie is so good, but it is very much a push your limits to what you can stand. It deals with things like, well, dead bodies. It also deals with the conflicts of father-son dynamics, and it has things that are, pun intended, more than just skin deep. Brian Cox and Emile Hirsch play Tommy and his son Austin, both coroners who have very different ideologies. One just sees the practice as just a job, a thing to do, and that's it. The other wanting to get out and something more with their life. In comes this mysterious corpse, and everything goes straight to hell. It also is just builds and builds and builds to the creepiness. It really does feel like you're trying to solve a mystery. But not just a mystery of what even is this? Like, what is even happening half of the time? And it gets so creepy. If that uneasy feeling that you ever get when you hear a true crime documentary was a thing, if you ever feel like that kind of like goosebump feeling, this movie encapsulates it in a way that doesn't feel too much, but it does push some people over the limit. Plus, the subject of death in horror is more of just a one and done. Take a slasher film. It's just slash, dead, moving on. Slash, dead, moving on. But when you have to constantly face the actual visage of death, it becomes far harder to swallow, because it deals with the gravity of, like, who was this person? Like, what happened to them? And you're never really given a conclusive feeling of an answer. And I like that because, much like life, there aren't any real conclusive answers. And part of that makes the appeal much, much creepier than it should. The effects are all well done. Everything is done in a practical sense, and because of that, it feels more real. It feels more raw. It's not necessarily everyone else's cup of tea, but there is a great mystery element around it that keeps you just enough entangled despite those uneven feelings that you may have about the subject material. Come back for more horror delights here on Jackoween.